Hello, hello. What's up, guys? Sandeep, McTony's, Crypto Rod. Good to see you, man. Evil Rabbit. How's everyone doing? We've had some clean price action on Bitcoin, in my opinion at least. A lot to talk about, especially low time frames. I've already covered the higher time frames in the videos, but yeah, mostly gonna be focusing on lower time frame trades that we've taken. We were long yesterday and actually flipped short today, so let's go over those trades and explain what I'm watching, what my plans are for the future, all of the usuals. Was short from 108, SL was 109. Thank God it didn't get hit. Nice, man. Yeah, you had a pretty clean validation. That's also what we said in the videos, right? This key high with liquidity resting above it, most likely, and that supply lining up beautifully above there was a really clean validation on shorts. Gonna give it a couple more minutes so some more people can join, and then we'll get started. The volumes are okay, right? Everyone can hear me. You can see the Bitcoin chart, hear the music. All good, beautiful. Not looking too good at the moment, right? 4 hour close in 1 hour, that will likely be telling. I was watching this area for a bounce. It's still 4 hour demand, right? That led to this pump. So I could see something where we do this and then maybe go lower or trade higher. But in my opinion, a 4 hour close like this could be the trigger for a nuke lower straight away from here. But let's get into that in a second. Goedemorgen, Planet Fusion. NL, Belgium, man. $60, $70 people already. Nice. Slowly growing again. Almost at 9k subs. Let's go. Going for 10k. All right, I guess we'll get started. We've got almost 80 people in here, which is amazing. So first things first, quick shout out to Blowfin for sponsoring the streams. I currently trade on Blowfin as well. I moved over my 10K account, challenge account, call it whatever you want. I trade an account publicly, show you everything I do. I think that's the only way to verify what you're doing, right? You see all of these people post their setups, but like execution is everything. Anyways, I moved over my trading to Blowfin, so if you want to support, head over to the description, sign up using that link. If you do so, you get free access to my Discord. You don't have to pay me anything. It's completely free. All I'm asking is to make an account on Blowfin and try out the exchange. All right, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already to get notified whenever I go live. If you have any questions during the stream, feel free to ask. At the end, we'll do some requests as always. But first, I'll do my own thing covering Bitcoin. Bitcoin Charlie, good to see you, man. How are you? So starting off with Bitcoin, right? We were long yesterday. I explained that in yesterday's video. So quickly gonna go over that trade again. I don't think I have the setup here. No, I have my short. I can show you. Where is it? There it is. So this was the long we took, right? The idea was basically we had this lower time frame consolidation here, right? After we saw all of this downside, and basically this was a structure where we had a low, right? We swept the lows aggressively, strong buyback, right? Almost back to the highs, made equal highs right there. Then aggressive sell-off again into the retest of that level. Sort of a sweep, well, a low, a sweep, and then the retest. So even if you're not targeting all-time highs from there, you can at least expect a reaction from there, right? And that's basically the main idea behind, well, was basically the main idea behind this setup. I was looking for price to trade higher, maybe not to new highs, but at least into this lower time frame ugly high, into this 4-hour supply area. Felt like there was going to be a lot of stops resting above this high, and we had a clean supply untested right above there. So that was my first target. As you can see right here, I took off half there, and then I was going to wait out the reaction. And this morning, after I saw how we got rejected there, I fully closed longs and actually flipped short, but more about that later. Anyways, that long ID played out beautifully. We swept the high into supply. As I said, ugly rejection back below there. What we wanted to see in order for us to hold that long was strength above, or at least inside this OTE area. If we would have seen low time frame consolidation, right, dips getting bought, just strength in this area, at that point it was more likely that we would go for these equal highs next into our all-time high and potentially a big breakout. What we didn't want to see for bulls at least is exactly what we saw: a harsh rejection after sweeping the high into supply and a dump back below there, right? So that's what we saw. We closed the daily, let me quickly remove that, as a long wick to the upside, and today's candle made a wick to the upside and is below the daily open again as well. So in my opinion, there's a pretty clean invalidation on shorts here. You just know if bears want this to trade lower, well, you don't want to see a reclaim of this area. If we do so, right, that's straight away the invalidation on the bearish ID. If we start seeing strength from here and we break back above here, well, then I don't think we're just going to revisit this area to sweep it again and dump lower from there. But at that point, I do think that we trade a lot higher. If bears want this to trade lower, in my opinion, maybe retests of 107 range mean, something like this, right? Current 4-hour candle doesn't really have a big wick to the upside, so maybe wick in there, right? Wick into this candle, and then you want to see lower. If it doesn't and it trades up here and we see strength, like I said, then I think prices trade higher. So looking at this this morning when I saw the rejection, I had the exact same idea. That's why I entered a short, as you can see right here. The idea, exactly as I just said, prices swept the highs into supply, got rejected heavily, clean lows resting all the way here into this one and this one. Obviously not talking about straight away going for the lows right here, but I could definitely see a trade towards these local lows next. Now the area that I was watching as well, and that's been pretty clean in my opinion, was, let me remove these, was the weekly open and the monthly open, right? So as I explained on this downside, we came back to the monthly open, consolidated there. That was also a reason why I expected at least a move higher from there and at least retest supply before potentially going lower. Those areas held, right? Now we're retesting them, coming into those areas again, and it's still 4-hour demand, right? This sideways price action was the price action that led to this move, telling us that people were accumulating longs in this area. Is it going to hold another time? I don't know. Is supply going to hold another time? We don't know. But what we do know is that those areas are areas where we should be cautious. So not straight up short into this area. And that's also the reason why I could see something like this, a local bottom form here, more ranging in between, let's say 108 and that monthly open and the weekly open. That ultimately leads to a sweep of these lows or a sweep of these highs. Okay. So still in the short, what am I looking for next? Well, like I said, 4-hour close in about 50 minutes. If we close down here, I think that could be the trigger for lower prices. And then I think we see straight continuation towards Monday low and likely these lows right here. I'll be scaling out of shorts there because I could see a scenario where we do something like this. Sweep Monday low, sweep below the monthly open. Everyone will flip bearish again. But if we then get a decent buyback from there and trade back above the monthly open and the weekly open, there's a good chance that the next draw on liquidity is going to be to the upside again. So then I see a decent scenario there for longs. If we don't see that, and we do this, smash below here and stay below here and see continuous weakness, yeah, at that point I think we trade towards these lows down here all the way into this consolidation and potentially even our 92k daily or weekly range mean, however you want to call it. All right, but for now I personally don't see a lot of upside from here. Could see a bounce play, like I said, something like this, and then continuation to the downside. What invalidates all of this? What invalidates the bearishness? Well, like I said, you have a clean invalidation now on a reclaim of these levels. I think if we reclaim this, then that will be the time that we truly break out to the upside. But for now, invalidation on shorts is pretty damn clean above the level that got swept there. So yeah, that's basically it. Like I said, on longs yesterday, the risk reward wasn't that great. But yeah, you got to keep in mind, it's not about catching the low and closing at the high. It's about catching the majority of the move. And that's what we did. We look at price action. If price action is telling us get out, well, then that's what we do. And that's exactly what I'm planning to do on this short position as well. So like I said, 4-hour close right here. I'm looking for continuation towards Monday low. I likely take some off there, then take some off right here. Then we wait out the reaction. Do we see a similar reaction than we saw here, but the other way around, right? That will be our signal to get out of shorts again and maybe even flip long. All right. So that's basically it for Bitcoin. Apart from that, I'm just playing the lower time frames here, combining these supply demands, weekly open, monthly open, and in this case the Monday range as well. Because like I said, if we straight up dump from here and sweep Monday low, ideally sweep this as well, I don't think we straight up way break lower. I think we at least trap some more people into retesting this area once again, and then maybe see lower, or then reclaim this and trade a lot higher. Is that clear? I'm very good, thanks for asking. The weather is nice. I'm gonna play some golf later today, so all good, man. What's up, my favorite crypto trader? Hello, Zalekis, Gatsby, Solana. We'll do some altcoins at the end. Just gonna do Bitcoin first and then maybe Ethereum. So Bitcoin plans clear for everyone? Any questions? So waiting for tomorrow FOMC for a new trading setup? Not necessarily. I usually just trade a chart. I feel like the news will be in the charts. So if something presents itself before FOMC, I wouldn't be scared to take it. But you can see the way we started dumping from this retest, like it's been, is it all? Yeah, it's been all hourly, red hourly candles since we retested this early this morning. That's also the reason why I could see a bounce from this area, weekly open, monthly open, something like this, back in here, and then continuation to the downsides. But we'll see. I don't see a reason to close my shorts as of now. I am 26 years old, and yes, this is my full-time job. I like to trade with less noise, and the current move was heavily influenced by Trump-Iran news. Maybe you think that. I personally don't. I was watching this high, I was watching the supply, and was looking for a reaction at these levels, and played out beautifully. So yeah, but you do you. Let's see what it does. Let's see where we're at the end of the stream. So moving over to Ethereum. Clean daily range as well. And also not looking too hot. Yesterday I posted a chart where I marked these out as well and said the very easy thing to understand. To be honest, I said that as long as we don't reclaim the deviation or the sweep that led to a break back inside the range, that I was bearish targeting these lows. And that's still the case. We aggressively, well, this is your range, but if you take the extremes, so let me remove this. If you take the extremes, you could take this high. What's this arrow? And what's the low? Right there. And high time frame highs have been swept into resistance, right? higher time frame, monthly actually, range mean area in general is gonna be heavy resistance. Got swept, right? Unswept lows to the downside, so it's only normal that the drawn liquidity is gonna be towards there. So in my opinion, as long as we don't reclaim this, I'm targeting these lows. At least, by the way, because yeah, we pumped quite aggressively here, and that's gonna be a pretty inefficient move. So honestly, if we do something like this, I could see us trade lower towards the 1.7 to 2k area again. Maybe not, maybe I'm wrong. The reaction at these lows will be telling, but like if we do something like this, smash back above, right? Then you're back inside this range. At that point, we target the other side again, see the reaction there. If we reclaim it, target a lot higher. If we see rejections, more ranging, more chop. All right, but lower time frames on Ethereum, not looking hot either. Why? Because of that move yesterday, right into supply. Well, supply was resting a little bit higher, but just key resistance. As I said, these kind of setups are easy to short as you have a really clean validation. I should have actually looked for shorts into the pump, but yeah, the timing was a little bit off. Was in the evening, so I didn't take it. Glad I flipped short on Bitcoin this morning, but Ethereum was a very similar setup where we swept lower time frame highs into resistance, just a general resistance area. If you draw it like this, right? Clean validation if we would reclaim this and target the lows. And as you can see, if you would have shorted somewhere around there, invalidation there, that gives you 1.8 R. That's more than enough for a high probability setup. So what am I thinking is next? Well, as you can see, all of these lows, this low and this low, all on unswept. So break below this meme trend line and then send it to the lows. If not, right, and we reclaim this, that would be a first sign. But then at that point, I could still see us sweep this into the real supply up here. So not out of the woods yet. If we just trade back towards this high and then reject and then go for the lows again, what would really flip this chart a lot more bullish? Well, that would be a reclaim of these range high levels. So strength above, let's say 2.8k is what I'm looking for in order for us to trade significantly higher. All right. Can you do this full time in Belgium? What about taxes? Yeah, I pay my taxes. It's a lot, but it is what it is. Why are Monday high and low important? Because what you very often gonna get is that a high or a high or a low of the week is gonna be put in early in the week, and Monday low and Monday high are key liquidity points of the first daily candle in the week that often get swept and then reverse heavily. So a sweep of Monday high, of course, you always need to use confluence. It's not just about longing a Monday low sweep or shorting a Monday high sweep, but if you use it in combination with supply, demand, key levels, OTE, whatever, liquidity, of course, then you can really get some high probability setups out of them. Can you make a separate video about paying taxes? Lol, I'm not an accountant, man. Alright, so that's Bitcoin, ETH, Solana. Wasn't looking hot as well. Yeah, this looks like shit, man. You see, this is our big weekly range with these as the highs and these as the lows. The lows got swept, but the key area to reclaim was the range high level. Just pivotal price action around there. And as you can see, we swept some highs right here into a key pivotal area and rejected heavily, broke below range mean again, retested it, and now it's just looking like it wants to fall over. So in my opinion, Ethereum, Solana, at least back to, let's say, somewhere around here. On the daily, yeah, sort of a meme head and shoulders as well. I don't really trade those, but it's all the same, you know. It's a high, a sweep, a retest. Remember what I said about Bitcoin, a low, a sweep, a retest. Well, that's always the same structure. You have something similar here on Solana, right? You have clean lows down here. So I think at least sweep those in here, and then we can start looking for longs again. Something like this. So I wouldn't be surprised if everything nukes from here. But those dips, in my opinion, will be for buying, especially on Bitcoin. Are you going to start posting more YouTube videos? Yes, I revamped my YouTube a bit. Got a graphic designer for my thumbnails. We're doing it the professional way at the moment. No, but yeah, I'm definitely planning to make a lot more content on YouTube. So that's that. BNB was looking very strong this morning, but yeah, if the whole market is shitting, this will do so as well. But on BNB, nothing changed for me. I'm still holding my spot backs and still think that BNB is one of the better altcoins to hold spot. So yeah, that's it. Daily, nothing much to update, just in a daily range where we swept the highs and the lows. So you can expect chop, right? And that's what we're doing at the moment. If it retests, let's say here, that's a buy in my opinion. And otherwise, I could see it really rip to these highs up here and into all-time highs. So for me, just holding spot. What else do we have? Hype was very strong. It's looking quite ugly at the moment. Let's see what Hype looks like. So swept all-time highs and then another sweep of these highs that led to a pretty big rejection. Let's take a look at where the other side of this high is, right? Because that's the high that got swept here, whereas the other side of that range right there, moving to the 4-hour, that's gonna be a really clean range. I need to keep... I chose the best time to go live again. It's right now when things are moving. But anyways, let's mark this out as a range like this. So clean plan. We have demand resting right below range low, so looking for a sweep of that into demand, reclaim, and then we take it long. Again, not necessarily have to target new all-time highs. It's just about catching the bulk of the move, right? Or just catching a rotation from range low to range high. But what do we know? If we sweep these lows into demand, then we have a pretty clean setup where we long the sweep, invalidation is below the demand, and we target range high. And at that point, maybe hold some in case we break out to new all-time highs. So that's what I'd be looking for on hype. Altcoin maybe, although I'm not really interested in this anymore. This would have been a clean short. I didn't take this, but would have been nice. Anyways, I tweeted about this one, not sure when, said that we're simply trapped between resistance in the red and support in the green. So I'm interested in longing lower down, something like this. I'd be looking to long or short higher up. Although if we now move up to, let's say here and see strength, then I wouldn't be interested in shorts. But let's say we do something like this and reject, right, after sweeping some highs, then I'd be interested in shorting. But as it's looking right now, mostly interested in longing lower. All right. What else do we have? Nothing too much. Let's see, Bitcoin. Should have set some TPs before the stream. Let me see. All right. Leave a like, please, on the stream if you're enjoying it. We have 80 people here and only 18 likes, so let's get them to 30 at least. And subscribe if you haven't already. Almost at 9k subs. And let's do some requests now, so feel free to post a ticker in the chat. Don't spam, please. Just post it once, I will go over them. If you spam, I'll just ignore. How do you manage to stay sane after trading crypto for so long? Just started a few months ago and man, it's been a ride. Yeah, I guess after all these years, you get used to anything and you're ready for anything, so. Right, start off with Tau. Ugly, right? Yeah, looking at the weekly, that looks like this. See, this is horrible. This is what you don't want to see. A sweep of a weekly high and then a rejection that looks like this and a close in the red. And as you can see, this week already a nice wick to the upside with clean lows resting below there and there. So in my opinion, at least those are next. From there we maybe get a reaction, maybe not. But like, it's too low to short it here. but I definitely wouldn't be longing here as well either, I mean. So what I'd be looking for is something like this, and then if you see strength coming in, then you have a clean invalidation below here, and then you maybe target up here just as a retest, right? Just play the bounce, and then it can do again whatever it wants, trade a lot lower or trade a lot higher. Peanut. Long time since I've looked at this one. You can see the previous plan here. Reclaim this, then we were targeting higher, but never managed to reclaim that area, and it's looking like why would you trade this? I really have no thoughts on this, man. Stupid meme coin that's just bleeding lower. Just trade something else. Atom. Looking heavy as well. Damn. Some alts truly look fucked. See how this swept the highs here on this move and then bleeding lower with all of these lows. Once again, not interested in anything on this. Like, why would you focus on trading a coin that looks like this when you can trade Bitcoin that's more volatile, has cleaner price action, or trade stuff that's strong, sorry, and that's hyped. Like, it is hype that I'm talking about, but also talking about Fartcoin, for example, has some really nice upswings, downswings, some good price action. Like, why would you trade this? So the only thing I can imagine why you ask me to chart this is maybe because you're holding spots, and even then, like, why would you hold spot on a coin that looks like this? So yeah, no real thoughts on this. What's this one? Yeah, same. Weekly, high swept. Below the lows, looking like it wants to trade lower. In here next maybe? Something like this. And then maybe a bounce. But nah, not interested. What's this? Curve. Curve. Yeah, also looking weak, man. Alts really look fucked, man. Like, this has weekly demands resting right there, but even then I wouldn't trade this. Maybe something like this and then a bounce on the weekly and then lower, but not interested. Doggy. That's the only meme coin that I'm still holding after buying, like, right here or here. Either here or here. But yeah, it's also looking pretty damn bad. As you can see, clean price action though. Clean range here, moved to the highs, swept the highs, broke back below, retest of supply, dumped lower, pivotal price action around range mean, dumped to range low held, retested range mean, and now trading lower. So it is coming into support here, right? But yeah, from here, what can we expect, you know? Maybe a bounce into here. What we really want to see here is a reclaim of range mean. Then we target range high. Do we reclaim range high? then we send it a lot higher. But yeah, we'll have to see. Only Binance, Bybit, Blowfin altcoins, please. Tron. And then this one looks okay. So weird. Anyways. So yeah, I'd rather trade something that looks like this. That's not dead, you know. But let's see. Why did this pump? Sort of a rounded bottom here. Pivotal area right here. Tons of lows right here and the highs swept. So I would be interested if we sweep these lows in here and then look for highs to trade it higher. Likely towards somewhere here. Yeah, you're gonna see if you make it a range. See, pivotal price action around range mean. So if we see, what's the 4 hour? Yeah, looking strong, to be honest. But this was an ugly week. Not sure what happened here. Yeah, probably I wouldn't touch this unless we do something like this, where we sweep the lows in here and then look for longs and look to trade it towards these highs. But definitely looks interesting. One to keep an eye on for sure. Like, you do have clean validation on longs, but with the way that the rest is looking, I don't know, man. Our short is running nicely. Monday low is my first TP. And then these lows down here, and then we'll wait out a reaction. But I don't think, especially if we dump straight from here, that we will slice through these lows straight away. I think we do this, then bounce maybe to somewhere here, and then we'll see. So maybe I close my shorts there, look for a sneaky long, try once, you know. We'll see. A lot of alts look like the same, to be fair, week. For now at least. Yeah, I agree. Tron IPO news. Oh, okay. Giza. Nope. Egan. Not too bad, actually. But in this case, I would wait, you know. It's a range, it broke down. Now the question is, well, is it breaking down or is it sweeping the lows? If it's sweeping the lows, you simply wait for a reclaim, do something like this, buy the retest, invalidation below the low, keep it tight, and then you just target some highs up here and maybe up here. If not, and it keeps on bleeding, yeah, then you just wait it out, probably it dumps in here, this consolidation. Could go for a long there as well with invalidation here, or still do the same, wait for the reclaim and then look to trade it higher. But right here it's a fairly big risk. If there would be more key levels or a clean demand resting below the lows, you could take an aggressive long, but in this case, I would wait. Launch coin. Lol. Yeah, not interested in this. Looks like it just wants to go for the lows. But a fairly new coin. Range lows, range highs. If it does something like this and you see this accumulation, right? Wait for another sweep. And then that's where you do business. There you buy and you take profit on the way up. But not before. Needs to form some kind of an accumulation range first, in my opinion. What does OTE mean? Optimal trade entry. ETFI. Looks similar to the one we just did, but I don't like that all of these wicks got rejected that heavily. You see these wicks and then all of these lows right there. So if we sweep them and reclaim, then I'd be interested. But for now, it just looks like it wants to go for the lows. So not interested. Litecoin. Do I even want to look? Same thing, you know. Weekly swept last week's high. You still have these clean lows there. So what I'd be looking for here would be a sweep of those lows into demand. What I like about this one is all of these, right? Seems like it hasn't taken that much liquidity above highs here. So that means if we sweep it in here and see a reclaim, that could be fuel for a nice rally back towards the highs. So that would be something I'd be interested in, but right here, right now, not really. What will you buy if the market dips lower? Nothing. Bitcoin maybe. ENA. This looks bad as well. I was looking at this in this area, this gray area, but not anymore, man. Like this looks fucked. High swept resistance and just looks like it wants to nuke to new lows. Looking horrible. Honestly, man, there's not a lot of alts that actually look good. Maker I liked. Hype I like. Altcoin maybe to buy the dip, but right here trading in the middle of nowhere. Aave I also quite liked, although right now we bumped into resistance and are rejecting pretty heavily as well, as you can see from this high. So yeah, give it a good flush, you know. That would be welcome, you know. Just everything, a big dip to the downside, capitulate everything, and then we long the dips. And see from there. All right, so that's gonna be it for today. Nice live stream. We covered everything I wanted, gave my thoughts and plans on Bitcoin. Like I said, I'm looking for downside first towards Monday low, but wouldn't be surprised if we see lower. What do we want to see to become full bull again? Basically a reclaim of yesterday high. So a reclaim of this red area the area we got rejected at yesterday, if we manage to reclaim that, then I think, and see strength above there, then I think we make an attempt at all-time highs. Until then, I think we see lower. All right, hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you in the next time. Bye.